Yo, what's up guys? Caleb here. Thanks for tuning into the video. Some of you guys might be wondering why I'm making a tutorial video for a Honda Civic Type R splitter. Well, it's because I've installed like 5 of these kits for my friends. So I figured I'd make a video to help some of you guys out. Hope you guys enjoy. So here are the tools you're going to need. You're going to want a pen or some kind of marker, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a couple of flatheads, an Allen key set, or in this case an Allen screwdriver, a pop clip tool. This will make your life a lot easier. A pick or some kind of punch, a couple drill bits, a size 10 socket and a size 12 socket, along with a size 14 wrench, some kind of snippers, and a riv nut tool, and finally your drill. In the box you'll get your bracket kit. You'll have your upper brackets, your side brackets, and your lower bracket, which is at the top of the screen. You'll also get your hardware, so your nuts and bolts, your rib nuts, washers, and you'll also get your Battle Aero stickers. So finally you'll get your splitter. As you guys can tell, this splitter doesn't have end plate holes. That's because it's the Spam Subi splitter. If you guys have the regular splitter, don't worry, the install process is exactly the same. You'll just add end plates on at the end. The Spam Subi splitter is designed to flow really well with the EVS tuning lip, so I highly recommend getting this one if you have the EVS lip. You'll also get your splitter leading edge guard that goes onto the front of the splitter. So now the fun begins. Use a flathead or a clip removal tool to take off all these clips on top of the headlight and the front bumper. It's pretty easy to take these off, just make sure you guys keep them in one place. Now that all the clips are off, we're going to want to remove this rubber trim at the front of the bumper. It's really easy, just pull it right out. So this part's a little tricky. You're going to take a flathead and unclip the top accent piece from the headlight. There are 2 of these on each headlight. So you take your flathead, push down on a clip, and it releases the accent piece like this. Now we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 screws from the driver's side wheel well. Same with the passenger side, remove those 2 as well. Next we're going to lift the car up and take off this 10mm bolt holding the underside of the lip to the fender liner. Go ahead to the passenger side and remove that 10mm bolt as well. So next we're just going to go through and unbolt and unclip all the stuff holding the front lip to the car. If you have that aluminum under tray, which Adrian here doesn't because he took it off for some reason, you're going to want to remove that as well. Now there are going to be these pop clips way deep inside here. This is where your clip tool comes in handy. You're probably going to have to end up breaking these just because they're so hard to reach. But go ahead and start removing those, or I guess chipping away at those. You're going to have 3 of these clips in totals that you're going to want to remove that are way deep inside here. It really helps to have a good view or a light to really get at these. So lastly, for the underside of the car, you're going to want to remove 2 10mm bolts that are kind of hard to find. They're in between the fender liner and the front lip. You're going to want to remove this on the driver's side and the passenger side. So finally, after taking all of that off, we can take the bumper off. Make sure not to pull too far as you'll need to unclip the fog light wire on both sides. Have a buddy help you pull the bumper off, and now we can finally start the bracket installation. So we're going to start by unscrewing these 2 bolts. I highly recommend using a power tool because they're super long and it'll take forever for you to do it by hand. We're going to get our lower bracket part and upper bracket parts and bolt them together loosely. We're doing this so that we can center the upper bracket on the OEM crash bar. Once that bracket is centered, we'll be able to mark out our holes that we need to drill out for the riv nuts. Now, take into special consideration the bottom bolt that I just did there. Make sure it's facing outwards while all the other bolts face inwards. Now take the bracket you just assembled and center it on the crash bar. You're going to start by loosely bolting up the bracket we just took off from the car. This will help support the battle arrow bracket so that you can kind of shift it around and get it where you want it. Now you're going to want to look at the top part of the battle arrow bracket and have it 38mm away from the, I guess, slots in the OEM crash bar. You're going to want to make sure that distance is even on both sides. So both the driver and passenger sides are 38mm away from the oval. Then we're going to take our marker and mark out the centers of each of the holes on the upper bracket. This will give us a good reference point on where to drill and start making the holes for the rib nuts. So once you're done marking out the 8 holes that we're going to be drilling out, you're going to unbolt the same brackets on the bottom again. This way we'll have a clear path for the drill bit to enter the crash bar. So now with the battle arrow bracket out of the way, we're going to start drilling out the holes that we just marked out. We're going to start with a smaller drill bit and work our way up to the drill bit size that matches the diameter of the rib nut. Now that you have all the holes drilled out to the appropriate size, you're going to put your rib nut on the rib nut gun and insert it into the OEM crash bar. We're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. Drill it out to the appropriate size and rib nut it. Once all your rib nuts are in, we're going to mount the battle arrow bracket back up again with the OEM bar. This time centering it on the crash bar, which will have the rib nuts as reference points. Once both sides are tightened down, we're going to go ahead and get the M6 bolts, the Allen key bolts with the large washer, and start screwing the bracket into the crash bar. Now do the same to the other side, and once that's bolted up, congratulations! The hardest part of this installation is now done. The next step is to take our 10mm socket and remove these bolts on both sides of the car. We want to remove this guard so that the splitter can sit flush with the bumper. Now we're going to place the splitter underneath the bracket and take our M6 bolt and large washer and slowly start to screw in the bolt to the rib nuts on the lower bracket. We're going to take our side upper bracket and take note of the bend orientation and place it on the third holes on the OEM crash bar. Once that bracket is in place, we're going to take a 3/8 washer and 3/8 nut and bolt that bracket right up. Here is the lower bracket for the side. Take careful note of the fold orientation and bolt that up to the upper bracket. Next we're going to take our M6 Allen bolt and large washer and bolt the bracket onto the splitter. We're going to do the same exact thing on the opposite side of the car. Again, taking careful note of the orientation of the bends for this bracket. Once the bracket is mounted onto the car, we're going to take our M6 Allen bolt and large washer and bolt the splitter up to the bracket. Next we're going to remove this plastic piece from the bumper. Start by taking a Phillips head screw and taking this top screw out. Next we're going to follow along the leading edge of the bumper and take off all the clips. Take off the plastic piece and take your clippers to trim these tabs on the inside of the bumper. These hit the bracket, so make sure to trim as closely as possible. So Adrian has the updated 2021 fog light garnishes. If you guys have the updated model, you're going to have to do some additional trimming on this passenger side garnish. The same story goes with the driver's side insert. You're going to have to trim a tab off just so it can clear the bracket. Once you found the appropriate height you want to set your splitter at, go ahead and put the bumper back on. Once the bumper is clipped into place, just do everything in reverse. Finally, take your rubber leading edge guard and press it firmly against the front of the splitter with your palm. Use a pair of snippers to cut off any material left over.